Welcome to Forking Around with Flavor South Florida. I'm Kerri Paizzi, CEO of Flavor South Florida. We are sitting down with entrepreneurs, business owners, and influential community partners to talk growth, trials, tribulations, and more. These conversations lead into Flavor South Florida, the region's largest restaurant month, happening every September from the 1st through the 30th. If you're in hospitality or thinking about building something meaningful in this industry, you're in the right place. Pull up a chair and let's get into it. This episode is sponsored by Ultima Caviar. Visit them at ultimacaviar.com. Today, we are sitting down with my favorite three amigos in the area here, restaurateurs. I'm certain you know them. I'm certain you've been to their restaurants. I'm going to introduce to you Scott Freilich, Cleve Mash, and Angelo Abbenante. Welcome to the podcast today, guys. We are here to fork around. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Yes.
Let's do it. You guys have a huge dynamic, right? You are honestly like the restaurateurs in the area, in my opinion. Like, I feel like you're serial entrepreneurs in opening restaurants. Am I correct to say that?
We've opened quite a few.
How many?
I've opened over 20 bars, nightclubs, and restaurants.
20. For here, just here in Florida?
All in South Florida, from Miami Beach to Jupiter.
And that's like nightlife, bars, restaurants, that's all
Correct,
of it, right?
yes.
All over the board?
Yep.
Okay, Cleve.
I got about 18.
18, you're catching up.
No, remember, combined, we've opened up, if you take the ones we have and the ones in my past, I've had about 18 different spots
Okay.
that we've opened up.
Angelo.
Yeah, I'm not as as heavy as these guys, but I think I'm
It's not
up
the
to,
quantity.
Yeah,
It's the quality.
Quality.
I think
Things are
I'm
better.
I've opened up 6 Lynoras, and and then we've opened up 2 Blackbirds, 2 our third Papichulos.
Don't forget Dugan's.
Yeah, Dugan's. That's yeah, but
Your Lake Worth
our Lake
Steakhouse.
Worth. Yeah, a lot of them. So
So you're the man behind Lynora's.
I am.
All right. You just opened in Palm City.
We did.
Which I find to be fascinating because Palm City is popping off. And now is something else coming to Palm City soon?
Shh, don't tell.
Don't tell anybody?
Yeah.
I mean, they might have leaked renderings already, just so you know.
Well, it seems like I'm the guinea pig with these two guys because I went to Palm City about 2 years ago and found a location, and it just seemed like the progression was heading north. And for me, it was like, okay, go to Stewart. I went downtown Stewart. I didn't love it. It didn't feel right. And then there was an opportunity on Map Road, and decided to open up Lynora's there. And it's been, we just January was our 1 year anniversary.
It's crushing. I went there on a Wednesday night and I waited for like 40 minutes because it was packed. I didn't have a reservation because it was Wednesday, like shame on me. But like it was popping. And I got these mussels in this encrote. I'm not Italian, but
Yeah.
and they cut it open tableside. It was so, I mean, obviously I'm not even gonna talk about the M word. The meat, everybody knows about the meatballs. Like, yes, Lynora's meatballs are the best. I said that. I said it out loud.
Yeah, no. And when we opened, it was like, people are like, everybody's heading north in general, our population of Palm Beach County. And, and that's kind of how, another opportunity came about 8 months ago. And, I dragged these guys up there, and finally, Scott's the one that takes the longest to get us to get to the group. So Cleve comes. I'm like, Cleve, let's go. He's like, all right, let's go. Scott's like, you have to kind of like massage him. Hey, are we going up? And
it's a process.
It's a process with Scott. He's the most conservative out of the group. Let's put it that way. And we finally got up there, and I guess they liked it.
Well, like he said, he's the guinea pig. And so the funny thing is that every time he brings us something, we're always like, oh, no, that's not a good idea. He ends up doing it. We're like the George Costanzas. Have you seen Seinfeld?
Yeah.
You do the opposite of what George does. You do the opposite. He'll come to us and we're like, oh, I don't know, that area, Map Road. And then he's like, I'm doing it. And then he'll show us the numbers and they're like, oh, what are we doing Papichulos next?
It's working.
And so that's what happened in Jupiter.
Right?
That's how we became Papichulos in Jupiter. Was Angelo, against all of our advice and everybody else, said, don't go to Tequesta. And he's like, you know what? I see the progression. He has a vision of where people are going. And he saw an opportunity. He opened up Jupiter. It was unbelievable. And then the opportunity came up that there was this little place actually in the plaza next door that we originally looked at. And the owner of the plaza said, you know what? There's this little house that's ready to be torn down. It was so in such bad shape.
Papichulo's was a house before?
Well, it looks like a house. Before it was a chicken place back in when I was in high school in Palm Beach Gardens.
Okay.
And then it became Pep Seafood.
Okay.
But for 8 years, it was left vacant. And the walls were rotted. It was just in bad shape. But Angelo convinced me to come up, take a look at it. And he's like, we should do a little side project. And then Angelo and I, a whole other story. We play soccer together. So we were like, we need a third person because he's a forward, I'm a sweeper.
Right.
And we always are locking horns. And we're like, we need a third partner on this. And I was like, we need to call Scott.
Enter Scott.
Mind you, 6 months to get him up.
6 months.
6 months to get him up there. He was not budget.
He's like,
a lot of time in Jupiter. It is? And I'm like, Scott, it's really not that bad. So
I had a lot going on. I wasn't really thinking I was going to do anything. So I was more of just checking it out, giving my opinion. I don't think it originally started as like I was going to be involved.
Surprise!
Yeah.
What is this?
Oh wait, how long have you known each other?
Different. I think me and Scott
over 20 years.
Yeah, well, Scott, it's definitely over 20 years. I mean, I don't want to say their age.
I'm trying not to.
We were 22, 22 years old.
Yeah.
So it was over 30 years. And then for myself and Angelo, we met back when I had Monkey Club.
Okay.
And then we played soccer against each other forever. Forever. My whole team hated Angelo.
You still play soccer now?
He started again.
Yeah.
I stopped, and I haven't gone back. But I stopped about 5 years ago. His dad warned me, once you stop, you never go back. Yeah. And it's so true.
Really?
It's really hard because your body, your muscles, those muscles that you use in soccer are different from running or walking because you're sprinting, you're stopping, and it's been every time I go back, I end up getting hurt.
My dad coached all of my teams when I was young, and everybody wanted to be on all my teams because my dad was we always won. He was the best coach. I played soccer, basketball, softball. Softball is definitely my favorite. Soccer's very hard. Soccer is, I feel like, I don't think people think of it like you're just running, kicking a ball. Soccer is really hard. But Cleve, tell me about your individual projects that you've had or that people may have visited in the past and current.
Well, I mean, my first one the first one I owned was Monkey Club. And we opened that signed the lease in 97. And then we opened up in 98. It was January 17th, 1998. I opened up Monkey Club. And then that turned into Dr. Feelgoods and then turned into Pawn Shop and now Clematis Social. Same owner. Obviously everything has a shelf life, especially in the nightclub business. But I've been able to kind of time it to the street, right? The Clematis Street in itself is one big machine. Yeah. In a sense, an engine. And so it's gone through so many different levels of changes. Different mayors, you saw the streets were ripped up at one time. So it's evolved through a different period of time. So I've always kind of evolved and timed it to change with the times. And so that's how I've been able to survive and flourish for over 28 years now. That's commendable because I feel like some restaurateurs would fold at that point. I could go from Feel Goods to Clematis Social. Those are different concepts. Those are different. It's a different audience. It's right. Am I right to say that? I went to Feel Goods. That was if I'm going to, out of your three of what you just said, right? Right. That Feel Goods. Right. All the way.
That was my favorite too, by the way.
But it's also when I first moved to Florida, and that was 15 years ago from New York. So I was used to that. I know, I think we're all around the same age, but so I went to the clubs in Manhattan and all that. And that's what Feel Goods gave me when I first moved here. So I found Feel Goods was one of the first places I went to in Florida. And I was like, oh, this is great. Because I was homesick, And it was a vibe. Can we just bring it back?
Yeah.
Just bring it back.
Fortunately, you can't bring Vince back.
Just bring the bar back.
We actually, Cleve and I, like when he had Feel Goods, I think that was our first venture together.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
We ended up opening a spin-off of it in Miami Beach.
You did?
With Vince Neil. And it didn't go that well.
Oh, interesting.
Because it was really there, you know, it's a Motley Crue concept in Miami Beach.
Yeah.
Was that early 2000?
Yep.
And it just, it wasn't the right vibe for Miami. People were not into Motley Crue.
2005.
It was a Ricky Martin vibe, and we're playing Motley Crue.
Isn't that funny?
Well, it goes to show you that certain concepts work good in, let's call it a smaller market.
Yeah.
And you go to let's call it a market like Miami Beach at the time, and something like that just is not, it didn't fit. You know, as much as it was successful, which was hugely successful in West Palm Beach, it wasn't successful in Miami. And I think it's, you know, if we would have went to, let's call it, you know, a smaller market like Jupiter, or let's go a smaller market in North Florida, I thought it would have
Jupiter
been.
has cows back then, by the way.
Yeah. We had the whole
Jupiter.
band there for opening night. And it was pretty, like, they showed up with their tour bus, and
They did.
they were, Tommy Lee was there, like the whole band. They played at the Hard Rock the night we opened. So they came in afterwards, and it just didn't really connect with the Miami
That's
Beach.
such a risk to take. I feel like if you're opening a restaurant, I think people look at a restaurant like, oh, it's pretty, it's fluffy, it's all that, right? And the behind the scenes of it, I'm getting dollars to dollars. Throw a number out. How much does it cost to open a restaurant?
I mean, nowadays, I mean, you're spending north of $1 million on a average
Minimal,
build,
yeah.
on an average build, lower to average build. But if you're building out, you know, a higher end restaurant, you know, perfect example, the Blackbirds compared to a Lynora's are double. You know, I mean, it's just, you know, the details, the
Finishes.
higher end finish, just everything is just, and it's become, I actually just did a build out cost for a new one that we have in Wellington or Royal Palm that's opening. And I'm astonished of where we're at now price wise to compare to where we were 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Like it's just, I mean, just the
doubling.
equipment, just the equipment alone was like
Doubles
200
every 2
like
years.
260,000 in equipment.
Yeah.
No, and that's no furniture, no startup. I mean, nothing. Just equipment was. It's like, and it's become, the business has really, I would say, since COVID, it has changed so much. And one of the parts that, you know, and I get a little bit like you start looking at numbers sometimes, like what you're talking about, like, you know, you start looking at the insurance, like it's mind boggling. Like insurance 4 years ago was like 20 to 25,000, right? Per location. Insurance today at any location is what, 50 to 60,000?
60.
I mean, it's become, you know, and I'll tell you, I'm so thankful I have these two guys because we all take a part separately, right? We're all really good at one, you know, I mean, we're all great at what we do, but like, you know, Scott has a niche. Like he's our designer, he's our inspirator on certain things. You know, Cleve's a machine. You know, anything needs to be done, it's like Cleve's on it. It's like, it's great. So we have like our dynamic, but I think I'm getting off topic.
No,
on where I'm at
keep going, go.
with the cost.
Go, baby, go.
Well, going back to what he said, the cost of it, you know, I don't think the consumer, the normal guest, understands. And we get upset when we see people on reviews attack other restaurant owners, whether they're attacking like, you know, for the quality of food or the experience. You don't realize how much people put their heart and soul into something.
Yeah.
These are life savings.
Yep.
You know, and you're talking about millions of dollars. And you eventually are getting to a point now where the landlords are requiring, you know, big money. You then are building these places out. Let's say 5,000 square feet. Average is going to be $600 a foot. That's $3 million. So now you're looking at $3 million of your hard-earned money. You got the landlord you got the high insurance costs, you got high labor
guarantees.
costs,
Yeah.
you got high food costs, and you're trying to squeeze out a bottom line. And then you have consumers and guests who are critiquing you on every little detail. And, you know, it's almost like they want to see you fail versus they want to see you be successful. And I think that's the thing about being in a community like Jupiter. I think being in these smaller communities where we thrive is that we have community involvement.
Yeah.
Like our guests, like what we do, they see the hard work. And I think that's the connection that we make, where sometimes corporations come in and they've got these big machines and they come in, they do a big build out, but they're not connected to the community. And I think that is really important now to our successes on making sure that we connect with, whether it's in Naples. We did a big, Scott was behind this. We did a huge mail out to the locals. And we wanted to let them know that the locals are so important to us. It's not just about the snowbirds. We're going to be there. We're going to be successful based on taking care of the locals. And so you really have to kind of make that connection, because the profit margin is so small.
I think that's what people don't recognize, that your profit margin is so small. And I see a lot of restaurants that open up. So my backstory, my history, and is that I started working in restaurants and when I was 14 years old in New York as a hostess and as a server, bartender, assistant general manager, etc. So I've been in every aspect of it except for the kitchen, because I don't belong there. I can cook, but not in that environment.
Yeah.
That's an environment, right? So now I opened up a marketing company in 2018, and I mainly do marketing for restaurants. And then I acquired Flavor South Florida in Restaurant Month in 2021, right after COVID. And I did that because I really genuinely want to help the restaurants. The amount of restaurant owners that I see that they open a restaurant because it's pretty and it's glamorous and it's fun. And my friends are going to come drink here. And then they don't see the other side of it. So my question to you is, what do you think the profitability? I have my answer in my head, and I don't even know if it's true or accurate, but when you actually see a profit when you open a restaurant, is it like 6 months, a year? Like, what's the timeline on that?
I think it varies.
Yeah. I mean, it depends. Like, just to pay back Naples, I think for the three of us was the most expensive restaurant we've ever. It was definitely my most. I think
For sure.
So for us to pay back the initial investment is years before we see our first.
So you're running in the red for years.
We're profitable, but that money's just going back to what we put in. So I mean, the goal, if we can pay ourselves back in 2 years, then that's a great success for us. But that's 24 months of working for free.
Which brings me to my next question. Then why are we doing it? Because you love it,
it's
right?
Passion, yeah.
That's it, right? That's it. Tell me about
Every
that.
restaurateur will tell you, we have a whole group of people that we all own restaurants in the area. We talk daily, and it's after every opening, it's like, we're never going to do this again. It's ridiculous. The prices have doubled. The equipment, the city, the licensing process, it's all been a nightmare. And then 8 months later, they're like, hey, did you see that space available down there? And I was like, it's
like a disease.
Yeah.
Right? You can't stop.
But
That's
it's
what
so
I said.
fun.
You're like
I'll tell you,
serial restaurateurs.
And I'll tell you, because it's us three, when we do them, it's really fun. I do mine on my own, and it's great. I have my own team, and I love doing it. But it's so different with these guys. We'll plan out trips. Last year we went to Chicago, which was insane. We'll go there, and it's you get some good inspirations when you go to these other cities that have great food, great ideas that we like to bring here. And then, one of the things that I love more than anything is honestly the design side. We sit together, we meet, we're always together on a talking basis. I think these two might be married because these guys talk. I call one up and say, wait, I got Cleve on the phone. And then I'm like, I call Cleve, no, wait, I got Scott on the phone. So we're
That's so funny you said that.
Oh, they're married for sure.
It's going to roll into
Just
a
no
game
sex.
I have later
Just
on.
no sex.
No sex.
No sex.
No sex.
Not with each other. So you said Blackbird. So I've been to Shipwrecks. That's what it's called, right? And I've been to Blackbird so many times because it's actually that corner that you're speaking about, Tequesta. That's my spot. Whenever people are like, "Oh, let's go out to dinner. Where do you want to go?" My brain just immediately goes to Blackbird, Ara, Lila, that. That's my little
Papichulo. Add that to the
I'm
list.
talking about night.
Yeah.
But so that's that's my corner. Yes, Papichulo. And Lynora's, that's literally my corner.
Yeah.
And that's where people usually find me. They're always like, you're always at these same restaurants. I'm like, because I like it. It's my home. It's my happy place, So, but you also have one that I also frequent, which is down in Delray. So tell me, that particular one has been there a while now, right?
Yeah, 25 years.
Dada.
Yep.
We're talking about
25
Dada
years.
in Delray. 25 years.
Yeah, we opened in 2000.
Wow. 2000 was 25 years ago?
26 we're going on. This will
Oh,
be 20,
no,
yeah,
that's
26 years.
Terrible news. You're doing the math wrong. I can't believe that for a second. So Dada, I love, there's those dates you have there.
Yeah, the bacon wrap dates.
Those are like the most delicious things in the world.
Thank you.
So what do you like? Do you have a favorite like dish on that menu?
I mean, that's probably one of them.
It's a good one.
We changed the menu a lot. Like my favorites just came off the Wahoo Crudo, which I loved. But
why'd you let it come off if you
during
loved
the
it?
summer, we were trying to shorten the menu a little. And
Man, don't take those dates off.
no, the dates have been they've been on for probably 20 years. We're not taking those off.
I think it's so cool that you guys have all these different concepts, right? Like Dada, Blackbird, Lynora's, Clematis Social, they're all so different. Like there's no like real crossover in any of them that I can see, right? As far as like menu items or vibe or anything.
Not really, no.
And when you first took took Shipwreck, turned to Blackbird, that was very... It was so interesting because I know it was the big chatter around town. I know there was a few names that were up for debate there. But the fact that you turned it into what you did, like when I walk in there, it's like this magical, obviously the Buddha, the tree. Like you really gave people something to look at, talk about. It's a hopping spot. Like it's a cool spot.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe. It's great, like, to see the amount of, and I'll turn to his Rolodex, but the amount of celebrities that come in.
Quarterbacks.
Quarterbacks that are, it's just great. I mean, it's a vibe, and everybody kind of like throws out the same word. It's that, it's that New York feel in Jupiter, Florida. It's like, you get that feel over, that sexiness. But it's in Jupiter,
It is
right?
sexy. That's a very good definition for Blackbird.
So it's it's a great date night. It's my go-to spot when I do an event with my family. We're always there.
But Lynora's a little sexy too because you got that girl on the billboard with her leg. It's a little sexy there too. That was a great campaign, to be honest. Like my marketing brain, so it's like, take me to Lynora's, take me to Lynora's. I'm like, okay, we're going to Lynora's. Did you guys see? I'm speaking of billboards. Did you see that one for was it Rachel's? Was it Rachel's or Monroe's?
With all the cats? Yes, I did.
Was that not genius?
That was great.
I don't even know
Except
if
my
it's still
6-year-old daughter is like, what is all the cats?
Well,
I'm
wait. I'm hysterical laughing because I'm going, when they first went up, I was like, like we all know what it is, but like if somebody's like a tourist and they're just driving up 95, they might have thought it's no mention. They might have thought it was an animal shelter.
Yeah.
Imagine, and they show up.
Go buy some. Go buy some cats.
Could you imagine? I bet you. I wonder if that happened because I feel like it could have. I thought that was amazing, but
that is great marketing.
So marketing, I think you guys do a fantastic job. Like, so to your billboard, I know I see you a lot on social media, and even with like Blackbird, like I feel like you're a lot in PR and the news. Like Naples open, I saw that a lot popping up. Like that's one thing that I think a lot of people overlook when opening restaurants is the marketing capacity of it, like, and how many angles you can take and how good it can be. Like,
I have to give credit to my wife. She handles all the marketing for Blackbird. So
she has a social media marketing company.
She does,
right?
yeah. She's kind of shrink down a little bit, so she has a smaller.
And she does the social media for Blackbird?
She does, and Papichulo.
And Papichulo.
Dada.
Cool. Yeah, shout her company out. I mean,
Essentials Group.
There you go. So if you need social media marketing, Melissa's the
Melissa
girl.
at Essentials Group.
So I have a funny story. Well, actually, I'll start with your funny story. Should I tell them on air? So one time I'm driving and I was talk texting.
Oh, yes.
And this is one way I'm apologizing publicly to your wife because I was mortified. And I'm talk texting and I said something and I don't know how.
I what it was.
It was kissy face. And so when I texted him like a normal question, it was like all the words and then it says, kissy face, and there's like all these kissy faces emojis.
Oh, jeez.
This is terrible. So now it's like a joke I have in my head all the time, like, with the kissy face, because it was so embarrassing. It was embarrassing, actually. I was like with my girlfriend in the car, and I'm like, how do I unsend this? I just put kissy faces to Scott, and, it's not like, that's terrible. So that's my funny story with you. Angelo, you and I have to create a funny story, but are you ready for ours?
Sure.
Do you know when we met?
I do not.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you exactly when we met.
Oh, I want to hear this one.
This episode is sponsored by Ultima Caviar. Experience exceptional. Visit them at ultimacaviar.com. It's not that bad. We met May 5th, 2020. Do you want to know where we met?
If it's Cinco de Mayo, I'm going to say probably Papichulo's.
2020. May 5th, 2020. Where were you? Because I was there too.
I'm going to say Papichulo's.
No, you weren't open. There was one restaurant open.
We were open May 20.
You were open May 20?
We were there. We were open back then.
I met you.
During COVID?
Yeah, I was during COVID.
Jupiter was open. Yeah.
I met you at Blue Point.
I would say that was on the other side of the...
that was that big.
The other side of the county.
Yeah.
Yep. That's where I met you.
We were doing takeout back then. That's why I was thinking about that. That was, I think, the year that you guys destroyed us at Papichulo's
was one of the hardest days I've ever had.
taco box to go
It
shit
was
that you guys had.
insane.
I got those taco boxes during COVID.
All right, so let's finish my funny story. Let's not get sidetracked. So,
okay.
That is hilarious.
Tying into marketing, restaurants above. So I was doing the marketing for Blue Point at the time, and COVID happened. And so I read every state, what were they, like the state orders, right? Mm-hmm. I combed through them, and I found every loophole possible. So the weird loophole about this, that particular day, Cinco de Mayo, there was 600 people at Blue Point that night.
yeah, it's crazy.
I'll tell you why. Because according to the law, you are allowed to have 50% of your max capacity outside at that time in Martin County. Now, don't forget they're in Martin County. And their max capacity was 3,000, which was marina capacity. So we were allowed 1,500 people, and you didn't have to wear a mask if you were eating or drinking. So now let's remember, they were all drinking.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's when I met you.
Wow.
That night. And I remember you out of like 700 people. Why? I don't know
I remember
why.
going there, and I remember like thinking how crazy this time is, and like how crazy that literally just half a mile down the road, the whole world's closed.
Wild.
And I remember fighting at my club when they allowed restaurants to open partially when you could have food. And they wouldn't let bars open.
Right.
Because they said, well, you don't have food. Mm-hmm. And I remember I was on Fox News, and I did a bunch of interviews, but I brought in a pizza oven, like you said.
Yeah, you find a loophole.
And I found a loophole, and they came in to shut me down. And I remember being there with the guy from the state, the county, and I'm like, they were saying I'm not selling enough food.
Yeah.
And I was like, I asked the guy from the city of West Palm Beach, the captain, I'm like, do you have an issue with me opening? He goes, you're allowed to open in our city. I asked the state guy, do you have an issue? He goes, you're in compliance. I said, so I'm failing to understand. He goes, you're not selling enough food. I go, I just opened my kitchen. Where does it say I have to sell a certain amount of food? I said, there's got to be some type of grace period. I said, you guys need to go back and write the laws or write some ordinances. But right now, I can be open. And if you want to go, you want to shut me down, that's okay. I said, I'll be on the news and you can explain it as you're shutting me down. And he kind of just looked at me and then said, you know what, stay open tonight and I'll get back to you. Fast forward, he actually came back and apologized and was really nice after the fact, but I think it was just a crazy time.
I kind of remember you being interviewed at that time.
People were just kind of doing things. They just didn't understand why they were doing it. They were just being told to go out there to do it.
Yeah.
And I don't think they were trying to hurt individual restaurants or bars or places, but that's just what they were being told. Everybody was scared. It was just a crazy time. And to think that we all were able to survive. And I think to Angelo's testament of what he said is we didn't panic. Like we talked every day. We would call our friends. We were.
You panicked?
Let me correct that. Angelo, I didn't panic. We calm Scott down every day.
I have to. You guys aren't usually into this stuff, but I just have to know real fast. When's your birthday?
You want the date?
Yeah, date.
What
No,
do you
just
want?
the date, like date.
January 24th.
Okay, and you?
June 26th.
Oh, okay. And you?
March 8th.
You're a Pisces and you panic? I'm so disappointed. I'm a Pisces and I do not.
Pisces are very emotional.
You're right. We are emotional people. That's so funny. And I think you're the same as my son. And
Yeah,
you're the same as
Aquarius.
every guy I've ever dated. Those damn cancers, man. Woo. What's Melissa's birthday?
She is August 26th.
Oh, so she's a Virgo.
Yeah.
That's good compatibility.
Yeah, that's what they say.
I'm into all that stuff. Anyway,
Yeah.
I love games. I love analyzing crazy things.
Virgo and
I'm
Pisces.
Crazy.
Did
Oh,
when I met you, did we talk about COVID?
yeah, briefly, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was a topic.
I mean,
All
we
of
had
us
both
were.
had a few
If you
drinks.
were working there and I was like probably quizzing you on how you're open and like, how's this happening?
Yeah,
And
you know what? We did have that conversation.
because I would want to educate myself. That's the thing about us is we're all constantly, like he said, everywhere we go, we're constantly trying to educate ourselves. Like if you I think you had in here David Burke. I think all of us would love to sit down. The guy's got a lot of stories.
Oh, he has so many stories.
We would love to talk with him to pick his brain.
Yeah.
Because he's seen a lot of different things that we haven't seen. And you asked us earlier, having the 18 or 19 bars that I've opened, nightclubs, Angelo's experience, Scott's experience, that combined knowledge of things that worked, didn't work, the mistakes we made. I made a ton of mistakes. Making those mistakes, I learned a lot more.
Yeah.
By doing those. But hearing Angelo's mistakes and hearing Scott's mistakes.
I make them all the time. I'm always making mistakes.
You learn from them, though.
Yeah,
You do.
It's
exactly.
important, I think, to make mistakes.
Yeah. So
right?
I always feel like you're constantly, when you're out places, you should always be asking questions and always trying to learn from other people.
I agree 100%. And I say that a lot to my son and my friends and anyone's asking me advice. I'm always like, just don't be the smartest person in the room. Just always be able to learn from somebody else and take the advice and don't be that person. Like, I feel like I'm always asking questions because I love to learn and build and grow. And yeah, you're going to make mistakes. Everybody's going to make mistakes. Like, that's just how it goes. You learn from them.
I think that, honestly, and I always bring it back, but that's what makes us three, I think, so unique and cool. Like we'll make mistakes, but one of us will catch it. And that's the cool part about it. Like we're all, we've all done it, right? We've all opened up. But I'll tell you, man, we'll catch each other. And then we'll, Scott will be like, "Hey, what do you think about that?" And like, "I don't know, man. Like, you answer." But okay, and then next day I'll be like, "Scott, you're right." Scott's right a lot. Scott's right a lot. I give him props. He's
the best thing about having
He's going to hold that forever.
the best thing about having three partners is that
Replay it to him.
it's
Yeah,
two
but he
always
will.
wins.
I'm going to tell you right now, Scott's number one on being right the most. Angela's number two, and I'm number three.
Really?
And generally, these two, I think they talk on the phone before we have the conversation, but they usually outvote me. So I'm always like, "Did you guys talk?"
I'll tell you that
We vote on everything.
It's kind of cool. Like going back to like how the three amigos, like we had just started, and I'll go back to the story because I love this story. Like, so we had just started. We had just opened Papichulo's in Jupiter, and we're all like smart individuals. We know what we want, but
What
we're
year was
strong.
that again?
Smart.
No, what year? What year were you
That just
smart?
happened.
What year was the Papichulo's open?
When did we open?
2018 or 19?
No,
19.
17.
So you're almost 10
we've been
years
open-
now.
No, we've been open 8 years.
18.
18.
That's crazy. We don't.
18.
It's crazy.
2018.
2018.
December
Okay.
2018.
Okay.
Yeah. And I just remember the first weekend we opened, and it's like, I want the music like this. Cleve wants the music like that. Scott's like, "What the heck are you two doing? What does it matter? Like, look at this place." Like, and it's like we all have this thing. And I remember him telling, and I don't know if you said it between all three of us. I don't remember how you said it, but you're like, "Guys, look what we've created." And then at that moment, I think we all looked at each other and we're just like, just vote and make a decision.
Yeah.
And ever since that day, and I don't know if you remember, but I don't think we've ever argued once. Listen, you've been wrong. We all been wrong, but like the choices of like, hey, 2-1, that's the law.
Okay.
And it's been great.
All right,
that was the original setup.
I really haven't.
That was supposed to be the original setup. That's why we brought Scott in.
Yeah.
But like he said, like,
I'm a peacemaker.
You have strong-minded. I've always been my own owner. Mm-hmm. I've been, and Angelo started Lenora's by himself.
Right.
He's got family.
We got a lot of personalities and we have a lot of opinions and stuff like that. Not that one is better than the other, but the thing at the end of the day is like, hey, we're friends first. Scott says it all the time. We're friends first. We're business partners too. And as long as we stay on that model and we look at each other and make the right decision and we're true to each other and we're honest to each other. And honestly, this has been the best partnership I've ever had.
We want to prove wrong to the saying that never go in business with your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you guys do a really fantastic job of that. You're actually making me think I should bring my game up. But while I'm getting set up here, it's going to be a doozy. I want to know, when you're opening a new restaurant, do you like find the property first and then does the property, as I'm holding 3 Sharpie markers, does the property define what the concept's going to be? Or I guess let's use Blackbird as an example. You saw the building. Were you like, oh, we want this to be...
So...
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Loaded question.
Okay, let's see how Scott's going to answer this
ready?
one.
I guess, did you know were you
Yes.
actively seeking for an Asian space?
No.
Or, okay.
No, because I already had a couple Asian restaurants that I was a partner in. So Cleve was presented the space first. Mm-hmm. He presented it to me. I think his first original idea was to do a nightclub. And
that wasn't true.
I thought it was.
Just wanted the space.
He wanted the space. But I think his first idea was like a nightclub, live music. He was throwing ideas around.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I really didn't have, I opened several nightclubs. I have Honey and Del Rey. And I feel like I was aging out. I really was looking to go more restaurant than nightclub. So I wasn't really that interested. And then I do remember the owner of the building has a lot of history with Jupiter, and he was like, what about bringing back the original concept, which was Jupiter Crab Company?
Okay.
And I was like, I realized you got Love Street, everything on the water, beautiful views, and how do you compete being on the corner of A1A and US 1 with no views? Mm-hmm. So I was like, I really didn't have interest in doing a crab restaurant. So we brought Angelo over. Angelo's like, I have no interest. And then the 3 of us went there we ended up going into where the Keyhole Room is now.
Yes.
And we sat there and had a beer. And Angelo I remember his voice going, this is terrible. And I was and Cleve goes, just imagine we bring back the Jupiter Crab Company. And I was like, I can see people with bibs cracking crabs.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's just not sexy to me. And I was just like, how are you going to pull people off of Love Street? You're going to go look at the beautiful views of the water, or are you going to go watch traffic go by behind a gas station?
Yeah.
And I really didn't have that interest. Cleve kept trying to present different concepts.
So
and then
to finish his statement, it got to a point where they were like, we're not doing it. And they were
There were sharks in there.
I know, I remember.
it was a giant.
I remember.
Fiberglass shark.
But now there's a giant Buddha.
We had to take. You should have seen that day when we had to take the entire window out, the side window, and we removed the 16-foot shark and brought in a 14-foot Buddha.
I remember that day actually when the Buddha was coming in. I don't know why I knew that. I think you posted or something, but I have to tell you the amount of money I've given that Zoltar machine. Because Zoltar is now determining all of my life decisions.
He's pretty spot on.
Is that bad?
That and the fortune cookie fortunes.
In that espresso martini, which is the most amazing thing in the world. Yeah, that's bad. I shouldn't let Zoltar determine my life decisions, right, you guys?
You should.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank
you should. You should.
Here, I'm going to give everybody a Sharpie marker. And we're going to play a little game.
Oh, boy.
Here we go.
I love games.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got, I think everyone needs a couple cards. I'll give you more if you need more, but here's some cards for you to write on. You guys are like, what is happening? This is terrible. Here's some more cards for you. Here's some cards for you. All right. Boys and girls. Well, boys. So let me find it. I had another game, but I think this one's going to be way more fun. Here we go. Ooh, I've got some good questions to end with. No peeking. We're going to play the newlywed game.
Oh, boy.
You said earlier that you are married to each other.
They are married to each other.
Well, now
we're all married.
now you're all married to each other.
We are.
All right. So you have to, don't show everybody else your answer.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you a question, and you just have to write down who the answer is. It's easy. So the first question is, who is the most likely to lose their temper during service? Like heated night, middle of the night, on the floor. Who's losing their temper? All right. Let's see. I'm going to see if you all agree, because I think this is going to be great. Ready? Angelo. All right. Here we go. Next up.
That wasn't even like
It's not even hard.
I'm just getting to know you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's the best cook at home?
At home.
Yeah, like who's the best cook? Whose house do you want to go to for dinner? I already know the answer to number 3. Okay. Best cook? Let's see it.
Angelo.
Angelo again. What are you cooking?
Everything.
Really?
Everything.
Oh, you're
I
the best
to
cook.
You're
Italian.
But I've been doing a lot of steaks lately. So
What
I don't
kind?
know.
Wagyu is like all the trend right now.
Wagyu is too fatty.
It's so trendy.
I think I can only eat that like once every like month. It's
Good filet.
yeah,
Good filet.
Just
Good
too
filet.
fatty.
Always the answer.
I don't know. Wagyu is I don't know.
My son is 14 and he will only eat filet. I mean, you could try to give him another steak, but he's straight up like, nope.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Who is more of a perfectionist?
I think I know that one easy. It's easy too.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, show the answers. Scott, that's what I thought too. That's what I was going with. Okay.
God, we haven't gotten one wrong.
I mean, this is great. I'm enjoying this.
Where are we going on vacation together? Right? Don't we win a vacation?
You do. I mean, if you get them all right, it's 10 questions. If you get them all right, you go on vacation
All
together.
right.
To Europe.
All right.
With them.
They're going without me.
Who is the one who always wants to open up the next restaurant? Okay, ready.
Hold on.
Where are you going? It's one word.
Okay, so Angelo said Cleve. Cleve said Cleve/Angelo.
If we're by the building.
Oh, if you're by the building. And Scott said Cleve.
And let me tell you,
If there's a building we bought, we're in. We're in.
but every week there's a new spot right now.
It really is.
Yeah.
There is. It's nuts. I know a few for sale right now. You want me to tell you? I can't tell you right now.
No, I don't want to know anything.
I don't want to know.
No, I don't want to know.
Don't tempt me with a good time. You know what's funny? I do actually get a lot of restaurant owners that call me or text me asking me if they know something for sale. It's not listed yet.
That's
and
cool.
I usually do know the answer.
Yeah.
But I can't say that on air. So, who's the biggest risk taker? And this could be in business, in life, in general.
Easy.
Okay, what you got?
Angelo.
Angelo, we gotta change these up.
Who's the least risk taker?
That's an easy
That's
one.
easy one too.
Who's the most easygoing with the staff?
Oh, we got that's easy
It's
too.
easy too.
Oh, the next one's good. All right, what we got?
Scott.
Scott.
Scott for the win. You guys are all like, you really are married now, by the way, because you haven't missed one yet. Who is the most likely to change their mind at the last second on a menu item? Like you're
That's a good
putting
one.
a menu together. It's rolling out tomorrow.
Pretty easy.
Okay.
This is a tough one.
Scott.
I put Angelo.
Oh, we have one that didn't align. I love it.
But I was actually going to do slash Angelo too.
I'm always second guessing
You
myself.
are.
Well, the only reason why I say that is that generally by the time we get to the end, you've already done the
Well,
second
once we
guessing.
print. once we print, then Angelo will like
but that's what I was
send
saying.
an email and like, you know what? I had a great idea. We should change this.
Well, that's where I was coming from. Was that you'll get it done, and then he'll write an email going, "What are we doing this for?
But you know, it's funny, before we came here, we've been trying to change the menu for months, and we just had another like our 8th tasting at Blackbird before we came here. But I think we nailed it.
But I think we did some changes last minute too.
Yeah,
that was you.
That was a tough one because you're second guessing way before we get to the end.
Yeah.
I love when I love it. All right, so last one. Who picks up the bill when you go out to dinner together? The 3 of you are out to dinner together.
This is definitely. I mean, it's hard because, like,
I know who doesn't pick up the bill.
I know that's the question. Is really
who doesn't pick up the bill?
Who doesn't pick up the bill?
You should rephrase that because
there's.
What are you saying?
No, it's who does
teaming
pick it
up on me over there.
Who picks up the
Kerri?
bill?
Well, it's hard. Like, it might be it might be Angelo or Cleve.
Yeah.
But
mostly Cleve.
Scott's wallet seems to always be in the car. He doesn't carry his wallet with
It's
him.
the skinny jeans. I can't put it in my pocket. I got coffee last time.
There's this thing now. There's this thing
I would
now.
say
It's
Cleve.
called
I would
Apple
say-
Pay.
Yeah.
Cleve picks up the check.
Cleve picks up the check.
Cleve always picks
You
up
guys
the check.
always want Cleve. Okay, let me
it's
see your
Cleve.
cards. Did you write Cleve? Did you
I
write
didn't write it, but
Oh,
it's
weird.
Cleve.
All right. Okay.
Thanks. It'd be me.
Oh, we did pretty good there.
Gosh,
bad.
you're like winning. You're winning all over the place.
Not bad.
You want to play another game, or do you want me to ask you a question? I have another game. It's a quick one.
Yeah, let's do it.
Quick one?
Yeah.
All right. Smash or pass ingredients. Truffle oil.
Okay, let's back it up. Are we talking personal to eat or restaurant?
Restaurant.
To put on the menu?
Yep.
Are we each making this question? Or is this a
You could just say smash or pass. Truffle oil.
pass?
Smash. Unfortunately, it's tired, but I love it.
All right. Foie gras.
Pass.
Absolutely pass.
Caviar.
It's becoming a hype pass.
Smash. I
Smash.
like caviar.
Uni.
Uni. That's a good one.
Are you smashing that?
I'm going to smash that one.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass.
Smash.
Okay. Bone marrow.
Oh, yeah. I'm smashing that.
Smash.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's good.
You know, beef tallow's trending right now, too.
Yeah.
But that's a whole thing. Wagyu was the next one.
No, Wagyu I smash.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
All
smashing
day
that.
long.
Not my cut of choice. Let's put it like that.
Okay.
Smash.
I love Wagyu. Smash.
All right. Octopus.
Smash.
Pass.
Pass that one, huh,
I don't like
Scott?
octopus.
Wow.
Gold leaf, like on food, like edible glitter and gold.
If I could pass that twice, I'll pass on that
Pass
one
it
twice.
twice.
Maybe desserts.
Okay. You
I
can
like that.
Yeah.
you can midway smash pass.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit.
I just
Smash.
every time I think of that, I think of like the $100 or the $1,000 potato
Yeah. I just did
With the
$1,000
with the gold flavor.
cheesesteak.
Yeah,
$100 cheesesteak.
100. Yes, you
Wagyu
just did that,
cheesesteak,
right?
Yeah.
All right. We got pineapple on pizza for the win.
Beyond smashing.
Okay.
Smashing
No,
means you
it's-
want it.
No, it was a joke.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm traditional.
Yeah.
So I
I
don't
can never.
want to mess-
I can't even. That shouldn't even be a question. It shouldn't even be on.
Growing
on
up
a
in New York,
questionnaire.
you didn't know what pineapple on pizza was. No.
All right. So, folks, that's a hard no on the pineapple
That's a
on
hard
pizza.
Yeah.
What do we put on pizza? What's like the best ingredient? Obviously not pepperoni.
Simple.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
I'm a margarita
right?
guy.
I'm not even
Yeah.
Italian, but I like a little, the little oregano, good marinara, right balance with cheese. Some like fresh pepperoni sometimes or sausage, and it's all about the crust.
We should have brought some pizza
I
here
should have.
today.
I
That was
should
a
have.
fail. We have to have an episode 2 to have.
I like that.
Eat
Yeah.
pizza.
Actually, we can hit all the spots in.
I think it would be pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
I like that.
If
Yeah, a
you
little
ask
buffet.
me,
International
I love
buffet.
It.
There you go. We're almost
Asia
there.
to Italy to Mexico.
All right, guys. What separates the place that lasts from the ones that fade in the hype? This is a hard one.
I hate using this word because it gets used a lot.
The
But
hype?
I would say the vibe of from everything from, how well you can perform hospitality to the cleanliness to the beauty of the room to the food to the service. I think you put it all together and it has to be a really good vibe. You go to Joe's Stone Crab and there's always such a great vibe in there. That's why they've been there 100 years.
That's why you guys have such long-standing properties and restaurants. And like, I think it's so interesting that these, like I said, these new operators don't get that. Like there's like this little secret recipe, I feel like, that you can actually like just hit it, get it, and make it magical. You guys have that recipe, which is really awesome.
I would love to say it's a recipe, but you got to do everything. Like Angela was saying, like we all divide and conquer, but you got to do everything. All aspects of like the restaurant business, marketing. I mean, it's not just one thing. And I think that's what a lot of these other restaurateurs that struggle, fail to understand, like even like the connection, like our staff, how important it is to have a staff that cares, how important it is to know that the staff knows how much we care and know that we're there talking to tables, we're there shaking hands, we're getting up in the morning, working, trying to make sure that the restaurant is, looking good or the maintenance of it's fixed and them seeing us involved and them understanding that, there's at different times, Angelo grew up at his parents' restaurant, sleeping under the counter. Scott, has been working in the restaurant business. He worked at Burger King when he was in like 15 years old, 16 years old. I was scooping ice cream at Haagen-Dazs at 15. And we've all kind of come up through the hospitality, doing so many different jobs that we can relate to our staff. And then like, we understand. So we when we talking to them and we're encouraging them, it's because we've done it.
Yeah.
And so I think that goes, it's like, if there was a secret sauce, I'd say it's having the right staff that kind of buys into the culture, right? And buys into like what we believe. We're so passionate. I think they feed off of it.
We hit the community well.
Yeah, you do.
I think one of the things that we talk about, like when me and Scott really mess with these menus, we're like value, right? Like, no, you can't go up $1. Like, well, we need to. And Scott's like, listen, you can't do it. Like, it's just, you just can't do it. Like, we sometimes sacrifice the bottom line on our end to give the value to the customer. I think one of the things that we've done great in our in all our restaurants together is the specials that we offer. Blackbird, a perfect example. Mondays, we have happy hour all day long.
Yeah.
Tuesdays at Blackbird we have Tomahawk Tuesday. I mean, it's great. $99 for Wagyu.
Your happy hour like crushes.
Yeah.
Crushes.
So you have that, Lynora's, same thing. We have happy hour, till 6:00 and we have great menu prices. So I think that's part of it. Obviously what Cleve said, connecting with the staff and everything, but it's a big circle, right? It starts here and you got to finish it.
And educating the guests to know, I think it's frustrating sometimes that the perception is we're charging a lot. They don't know what goes into that dish.
Right.
And they don't realize that dish costs, $38.
Yeah.
And we're only making $2 on that dish.
Right.
Because of the price of commodities, like in America, we've had the lowest number of cattle being produced the record of America's history. This is the lowest number of cattle because of droughts, because of wildfires, and because of the fact that we were just trying to.
You're depressing me.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't realize
You're depressing me.
I mean, I try to stay pretty on top of things like. When the
but you're not wrong.
When the tariffs went in place, like I noticed, like the price of certain items go, like avocados went up, and I think people don't take into consideration
tomatoes.
Limes.
2 weeks
Limes are ridiculous.
2 weeks ago,
$68 for a case of limes,
like insane.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
Don't give them lime.
You have to like outsource to like what you got to look to Brazil for steaks, or you have to figure out what can we do to bring in the price and the quality.
Yeah.
And then, that's another reason why crab right now, king crab, the Bering Strait, Russia, we can no longer supplement our crab in Alaska with Russian crab. So that's killed the market. Now crab is $125 a pound. And
is it?
It's crazy.
I think I saw it. I think I saw it at Whole Foods. One of you guys sent it to me. $129 a pound for king crab leg.
So I think we were on. We text each other probably
I don't know what one of you
27
two said.
times
I was
a day.
like, I literally said, "What? Like it's
not
crazy.
getting better.
Yeah, it's not getting better.
We just took it off our menu.
And I think that
you took off the crab.
we haven't yet, but we're gonna actually change it to lobster. It's gonna be instead of garlic crab noodles, it's gonna be garlic lobster noodles.
You heard it here first, people, and I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for myself.
Yeah, it's just gotten. It's just we can't do the price has gotten.
So perfect example. So if we had to price that dish, it would have to be $72. Like I would feel.
What is it now?
52.
52.
Oh, 52 now, because we raised it. But
that's rough.
So I mean, our cost on that, I believe,
And the
was
guests don't want to know.
Right.
About
They
the
don't
price.
want to hear
that's
that.
the problem.
Issues
They don't
with
care.
Russia. They don't
Like-
care.
No, but
care
that's
about
like
oil.
so
But
interesting.
It's just like, how do you go from 48 to 52 to 75? And
Yeah.
that's all they see. They don't worry.
Yeah.
They're not, know that the market and what we have to struggle
Yeah,
with.
so basically that dish would cost us, I think it was like, what do we price it at? Like $58?
Yeah.
58 our cost. Like, so it's like, so there, and it goes back to that, quality. So we'll find things, now we found the lobster and, we can keep the price good, but the quality will still stay the same. The flavors will still stay the same. It's just, so I think that's what we do that takes us to the next level, is that we're always looking, feeling, touching.
Yeah, we're ahead of the trends. I mean,
I feel that.
Eat, sleep, drink. We're like just as soon as something opens up, or there's anything, we're on a plane and we're there. We're like we research everything. And it's funny. I was in New York and I heard so much about Ding Tao Fung, and I was like, couldn't get a reservation. I told my wife, I was like, I'm sorry, honey, but we got to go by there. She's like, you're kidding me. I'm like, oh, come on. So I went inside and we just spent like an hour there. I was just in awe, just taking it all in.
Yeah.
And she's
I
like,
was touching tables.
I was like,
he
going
wasn't
to
even the
tables, I'm
manager.
looking at
It was
food.
like the
at a
managers were
table.
like, "Who is this guy? We need to hire him."
and
Because Matt's
finally
walking
she's
around.
like, we've been here an hour. I'm starving. Can we please go? I was like, all right. I think I got my fix. And I got to see it all. So it's just, that's kind of the three of us, I think, are the same way.
I walked in the back of the house, remember? We're in Chicago. And she went right through the back.
I get the same way whenever I'm in a restaurant. Like, I'm very comfortable just walking in the kitchen. They're like, you can't come back here. Like, if I know the owner, obviously, that's walking into kitchens. But but I'm like used to, like, I'm used to people running behind me, say, behind and the
Corner.
corner and all that stuff. Like, so like, for me, it's natural. Like, they're like, oh, just be careful. I'm like, I got it. What's the most popular dish at Lynora's?
I think we have a few. Obviously, I think our meatballs are basically our staple for like the appetizer. But our number one seller is chicken parm.
Chicken parm, okay.
Yeah.
And what is your most popular?
Peking duck is probably our
Okay.
we only have limited supplies, so it's not our best seller. I'd say that the three top are the Mongolian brisket buns, the bao buns.
Oh, the bao buns.
Probably orange chicken and our brisket fried rice are probably the three bigger sellers.
And Cleve, where Clematis Social, like, what's your
We
top?
don't have food.
No, but what's like your top drink?
Well, we're more of a younger bar, so I'm going to say it's probably something a little simple.
Yeah. So is it
green
it's
tea.
probably like,
Yeah, something like Long Island.
is it
Green
probably,
tea shots.
it's probably like,
We're actually.
I feel like they're
again
drinking-
another thing he did. Like, so we're doing our drink menus, right? And spotted. So back to this green Long Island iced tea.
Yeah.
So I think we're bringing in. Is it on this menu?
Yeah,
Scott?
we're doing our own version, but it's all instead of like a Long Island iced tea is basically all of your liquors in your well.
yeah,
for
I don't
one
drink those anymore.
So we're doing a Japanese Long Island, which is all Japanese liquors.
oh, that's
Yeah, I can't.
delicious.
It's really
It was
good.
honestly, it was amazing. You drink two of those, and you're gonna be Ubering home.
We'll drink two before we do the next podcast.
Right. Well, I had some wine. You didn't join me on the wine on this one.
I feel like the younger people are, I would probably say like a white wine or like a vodka cran or something, or like a High Noons, right? I would
High
bet
Noons.
you.
High Noons are
Yeah,
big.
they're into a lot of the
The
canned.
seltzers,
Yeah,
right?
they're into the seltzers now. It's you just see to see the evolution of like my club, right?
Yeah.
From 1997 to where I'm at now, to see that the people that were coming in my club, I'm now seeing their kids,
Right.
and
That's
to know
crazy.
that how many people used to meet, how many people come up to me and tell me in my restaurant now, or they see me out and they're like, I met my wife at Monkey Club. I met my wife at Dr. Feelgood's. It makes you feel good because that generation is gone. And back then we used to do more like socializing together than we do now. And so when I go to my club now, I see the phones are out and I see everybody on their phones texting. It's not the same.
It's changed.
I have to tell you something. Yeah. I went to Las Vegas a few months ago to see the Backstreet Boys at the Sphere. Don't judge me. Moving on.
It's an amazing show.
It was an amazing show. Yeah. So I also went to Bruno Mars's nightclub called the Pinky Ring inside of Caesar's Palace. And there, neurotically, signs everywhere, no phones.
Mm-hmm.
No phones, great. No phones.
That's a new thing now.
The bouncers inside of the club were literally standing there waiting for somebody.
Right.
I couldn't even answer a text because I'm like, I don't want to get kicked out. This is a cool place. They had a band, like a 7-8 piece band with horns. I'm okay with that. I'm really, really okay with that. And I'm pretty addicted to my phone. I do a lot of my work on my phone and all that. But to have it put down and away for like 3 hours, it was actually pretty cool.
A new trend in New York, and it's coming to Miami, obviously, is they have bags made.
Yeah,
and you
I've seen
put your
those.
phone in the bag, you zip it up, and you can't use your phone.
I don't love that so much. I like the fact that they let me keep my phone.
Right.
They just don't want it out.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to be a
concert
grown
now.
up
It's
and
like
not.
everybody's just recording. Like, what are you going to do with that?
Yeah,
when
exactly.
You're, like,
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what you're going to do with it.
Post it on social media.
If you post it on Instagram, you might get 3 million views on a Backstreet Boys reel. Maybe I did that. Maybe.
All right.
I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
No, but the whole trend of like that has. I mean, I opened up Stanza like 3 months ago, and it's all about small music and the venues and it's just. I think it's just changed. Like people are done with that. I think, and they want live entertainment, or they want a small little venue. And I think it's like it's changing. I think the young kids don't even go to clubs anymore. Not as much.
They don't. I don't think they go to like lounges. I think like they like a loungy vibe, a speakeasy vibe. I think is good for them. And I think if I read correctly, this was a couple weeks ago. Alcohol sales are nationally down 56% because that next generation is not. They're drinking. If they are drinking, they're drinking CBD or they're microdosing mushrooms or whatever.
But what is the number one market for alcohol in the United States?
It can't be that age group.
Florida.
Oh, Florida.
And you know what?
Florida.
There's only one. From what I've read, was only one brand in the entire liquor portfolio that actually was up the last 12 months. Everybody else was down.
Who was it?
Aperol.
See?
Yeah.
Really?
That Aperol Spritz.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
It's a hangover.
I'm a tequila drinker.
Me too.
Or a vodka drinker.
Tequila drinker too.
Otherwise, like, I'm not even interested.
Same with me.
Like, that's just it.
I used to do the bourbon, but now I'm just doing tequila.
I don't mind a bourbon. I just like, I guess I'm old. I drink liquor, like, I don't know. I did drink that CBD drink once. Did you guys try that yet?
No, I've never
tried it when I was in a different state. It was good.
I haven't had it.
Okay, so I had it here, and it was
I had one outside of the state where it was real. Marijuana.
Well, it was in the gas station, and it said THC. I don't know.
It was real weed.
It was real weed in there. And let me tell you, it was really good.
Well, no, I drank one. And it had 10 milligrams of THC or CBD. I don't know, whatever. So I drank one, and I was like, oh, this is nothing. I'm not feeling anything. And then I drank another one. That was a terrible idea because, an hour later, I was feeling it. And I'm like, whoa, this is crazy.
Was it a good feeling or was it?
Yeah, it was a little like, it's like I smoked a joint or something, which I don't do that. So the fact that I drank it was like, it got me. It got me pretty good. But it's so funny because, like, I think the transitioning of that, like we're saying, the transitioning of the times into the canned beverages and this and that, it's like all these alternatives. It's like, whoa, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So you guys, okay, so Stanza I have to get to, like, yesterday because I have a list in my phone of, like, where I want to go, and it's on my list. And I'm like, all right, I just have to get it on the calendar. So you have a new place that you've just acquired. I know it's been around for a long, long time. Which place did you take over?
We are going to be taking over Ralph's stand-up bar.
Ralph's, that's like iconic.
It is, and I think the three of us have all owned our own dive bars over the time, so we've kind of, we started as bar guys, so we definitely know the bar business, and opportunity came up. We bought the building years ago, and now we're going to be taking over the actual business.
operations part.
Yeah.
Of it. That's so fun because like it's been there forever, right?
Yeah.
And so that's like right around the corner.
Right.
Somewhere September or October, right?
You could stumble there from Blackbird.
Oh, that's a terrible idea. Although
Not
when
that
I get
would,
those
but.
drinks, or I could stumble from any of them. But when you get those drinks and the ones with the little, it looks like a little, what is it called? A totem pole, right? A totem pole?
Oh, the tiki drinks?
Yeah, the tiki drinks. If you drink enough of those, I'm going to stumble over to Ralph's, no
Yeah.
problem. That's going to be fun. Are you changing anything with the concept, or it's just gonna be Ralph's?
It's going to stay Ralph's. I mean, was kind of like raised in Palm Beach Gardens, so I used to go to Ralph's even when I had a fake ID going back in the days.
Imagine.
So I go way back to Ralph's, but it's obviously been such a staple of the Jupiter community.
Yeah.
And then in a sense that, it was established in 1947, but before that it was Ralph's Fish Camp, and it was on the water where the bridge is, the A1A bridge. And so like our we have our ideas with Ralph's are just kind of to preserve it.
Yeah.
The history of it. And I think, when we caught wind of the fact that Ralph's building was available, the reason why we jumped on it was we want to keep the character of Jupiter. We love Jupiter. And so that was the same reason why we have Blackbird at the old,
Because you
Jupiter
did
Crab Company.
You
can't
did
duplicate
preserve
that.
it. You really
can't,
did.
right. Yeah, you can't duplicate that kind of building.
Yeah.
And so that was what was important to us, and it's important to the community. So we've got a lot of feedback from a lot of people how much they care about Ralph's. And for us, it's been kind of funny.
It's gonna be a cool little project.
Yeah.
Who was Ralph? Do you know?
Ralph was the original owner that owned it, and he was that Ralph's Fish Camp that was on the water. I haven't done enough backdrop to be able to say to you, but I've been reading up on the history of Ralph's and why he moved it, and there's only been 5 owners. I think we'll be the 6th owner of Ralph's, and it's that's we're coming up almost on 100 years.
100 years, yeah.
Wow, that's insane. That's amazing. And I love that you are like preserving Jupiter and the history of it. And even with Blackbird, I actually just recalled that I did a write-up when I was freelancing with Jupiter Magazine when you guys first opened. I did your article for you. I wrote the article. So I actually at that time did a lot of research on Blackbird and the building. And I remember that you had things shipped in from other parts of the world or something, right? Am I saying that right? And then there was something with the wood carvings that you kept, and I remembered like all of that. You were keeping the history of it, which was so
the
neat.
Building, it's not historic, but the building was built in the 40s.
Yeah, it was built in the 40s. It was originally a truck stop.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a truck car wash. And here's a fun fact. I valeted cars there in high school at Jupiter Crab Company.
You did?
Yes.
Wow.
So when
That is a fun fact.
Yeah, that's a fun
Did you know that?
I did not, but
I knew that.
I didn't know that.
Oh, that's
Scott
so
and I
good.
valeted cars together.
I was at, not
I told
together,
you,
but I was
these two
at
were
Charlie's
married.
Crab, and he
Yeah.
was at Jupiter Crab.
Yeah.
But I used to go there when I was in high school.
sweet.
Which one?
Jupiter Crab.
They had
Yeah,
that-
I went there once or twice. It was, if you think about it, like back then, Jupiter was like so far away.
Yeah.
And it
But that
was
was the only
very-
place to go.
Right,
like
exactly.
it was
And it
there,
was-
and then maybe Charlie's Crab
Yeah.
was the
There was
only.
nothing fancy about
Yeah,
Jupiter.
there wasn't Love Street.
Yeah, there was
was
nothing
no Love
fancy
Street.
about Jupiter.
Yeah, but I think going back to that, I think we kept a lot of the woods that were in there, the original. Like,
Yeah.
I think
Well,
we
it's
kept,
kind of crazy how we because Andrew and I really weren't on board, and then
Yeah.
we just kept brainstorming, and then one day the 3 of us were in there, and Cleve was relentless. He wanted the space, and we somehow, I was like, how are we going to be different than Love Street? And it has a lot of feel like an Asian restaurant, like all the metalwork and the railings and the wood, and I was like, just really reminds me of like some of these big Asian spots in New York. And then it just, the 3 of us, like a light bulb went off, and then we were like, Asian, that's the way we're going to be able to survive here, not competing with Love Street. And then right away, I worked with one of the most amazing chefs that did Chinese cuisine better than anyone I know, is Tim Nicky.
Yeah.
So I think I called him in the parking lot, and he was at Lucky Shuck, and I was like, we need to meet. And he's like, all right. And then I was like, I got a project might be working on. And I think Cleve and I met him first, and I was like,
he's great. And Denise also, though. Your pastries there are like there's
our team is just
no
really
other
even Dwayne, our sous chef, and it's like we got such a like rock star kitchen
but
staff.
Going back to the dynamic, the three of us, I had to push, right? I saw the value of the lease, and he's right. I was like, I'll do a country bar. I just saw the value of the lease, knowing that's a great corner. And Angelo was opening up another Lynora's, and he's like, I got a lot going on. And, really I had to convince one of the two, right?
I think we made a pack. If two of us decide to do something,
the other has to do it.
The other one has to do it.
That's a good pack.
Pretty much, that's all I needed was, so I just kept working on Scott. Right. I just kept working on him.
I was the easier target.
Without a doubt, but 100%. I already know him. I played soccer against him.
And Angel's like, I don't care. I'm not doing it. He's like, I'm not doing it.
I just went to work on Scott. And finally, I'm like, I don't really care what we do. I said, this is a great lease. It's a great corner. I said, I just think we should have this building. And then he was like, if I can do Asian, I will consider it. And I was like, and then he went to work. As soon as he had the idea, I was like, yes, I got Scott on board.
And it's great. And once you're in there, and you get us three together, it's like, all right, I think that's kind of what happened when we opened up Naples.
Yeah.
I was actually the one again that was like, what is this? And then he brings me aside. He goes, so relax. He goes, let's walk this one more time. And
your first words were, this is terrible.
Terrible. Everything out of my
And it was a straight, long restaurant, gutted. It was damaged from the storm, but it was right. And I'm looking around, I'm like, Angelo, every seat in this restaurant has a view of the water.
Right.
I was like, there's nowhere you can sit where you're not looking at the water.
In that situation, Scott was 100% committed.
Yeah.
I was in the middle, and Angelo was just awful.
Yeah.
That's always the case.
You walk into a space, and I think that, again, bring it back. There's three of us, right? You bring a space, and one of us will have a vision, right? Faster than the other.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is. He had the vision with Blackbird first. He's like, he saw it, he knew. It was like, all right, and you get it. And then once we get in there, I think our magic really comes out.
Yeah. And that's one of our highest grossing restaurants.
I mean, I am so excited. So Blackbird and Dada do Flavor South Florida Restaurant Month every year. You participate, and you do really well with it. Like, you crush it, if I'm going to say so. I don't want to tell everybody your sales, but you do well with it. You do great with it. And the community, when I'm on my website, I can look at the backside and see who's clicking on what, and they're clicking. And I just got wind that Lynora is doing Flavor South Florida this year too. Is that true?
100%.
Oh,
Smash.
Smash. You heard it here first.
Yes.
No, I really do. I love working with local restaurants, especially like people that I've become friends with. And it's because I really, truly do want everybody to succeed, that especially like, there's so many, I'll call it mom and pops, because that's what we are. We're not big corporate drinks. We're not big corporate entities, Those are the people that I will support all day long. And like, I'm the crazy person in the Facebook group, just on my spare time while I'm drinking my coffee in the morning. Where can I get a good Italian food? Where can I get this? And I'm like, I'm the one writing, like, as a crazy person, like, Blackbird, Lynora, go here for a private event. Go here if you want drinks. Like,
right.
And it's like, because I'm honestly giving that feedback because people don't know,
So you're happy to give it to them.
I'm happy to give it to them because I'm not, like, when I enjoy a meal, number one, I enjoy the service, I enjoy the owner, I enjoy what you're doing. Like, I want to tell everybody. Hence why we have a podcast now. All right, well, we're going to wrap up with this really quick question. I'm going to show you a picture of this guy, and then if you have to tell me, give me, like, what advice would you give this guy? Take a little closer look.
I think the one on top needs a new sweater.
Oh boy, that's great.
Who are we looking at?
They all need it.
Wow.
That's
all right,
great.
For listeners, we pulled up a picture. We'll pop that up on
Freilich and a
YouTube
Cavalier.
for you.
Well, Scott, I think
Look at that sweater.
Scott, were you modeling back then?
We're about 10, 15
that was
years
modeling
back.
That's like a boy band.
Yeah.
That looks
Scott,
like the
Scott was
Backstreet
a model
Boys.
back then.
It does look like the Backstreet Boys. Well, what would you tell him? This is
I would say, Cleve,
Scott.
get some sleeves.
Now tell yourself something.
Showing off the guns.
Yeah.
Scott, 15, 20 years ago. Well, what are you telling him?
Scott, you need a new sweater. Wow, where did you find that?
That's great. That's great. Those are old school.
Just so you need a new sweater? One word of business advice.
Oh, wow, you put me on the spot. I don't remember if that was, but that was definitely one driven 20-year-old. I was focused on, I think Cleve and I at that time were like determined to own the world.
All right. What are you telling those guys?
Oh, man, put your tongue away. And
Doesn't even look like you, Angela.
I had to double check that was you. I was like, is that
Yeah,
actually
that does
him?
not look like you.
that was, I want to say, I was like, I must have been 22 there.
Wow.
23 there. No, maybe even older, 24, but right around there. Yeah, put your tongue away and get off the boat. I was going probably to Peanut Island for sure.
I always tell myself just to slow down, enjoy.
That picture is showing you that you are slowing down.
That's she's saying that time period of your life. You're just going. So to enjoy everything, enjoy the moments.
That's great, by
I
the
think
way.
we all were enjoying the moments back then.
Yeah.
I was doing them too much.
Yeah.
I love that you're all in vehicles. You're in a car or a Jeep or something. You're on a boat.
I'm in a Razor.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I'm off-roading.
Is that, yeah. You're all like
Oh, you remember
going
that one?
somewhere.
Remember that? Oh, that's
I did.
great. Yeah.
I was with Chris Klein at his ranch.
Oh, wow.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Congratulations on the new ventures. I know there's new ventures every which way we turn with you. So we'll keep an eye out. And, I had a great time. And
Well, thank you.
everyone support your local restaurants. If there's some cuisine you like, I promise you these guys are giving it to you.
Thank you so much, by the way.
Thanks.
Yeah, that was
Thanks
great.
for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining me on Forking Around with Flavor South Florida. If you're in the industry, a business owner, or just want a better understanding of what goes into keeping restaurants alive and thriving, make sure you subscribe and share this episode with someone who should hear it. Flavor South Florida takes place every September from the 1st through the 30th between Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast. You can find all the amazing dining deals and participating restaurants at flavorsouthflorida.com. Until next time, keep supporting local and keep forking around.